Hello everyone, welcome to Nature and Animals Talk. I am an animal communicator and I'm here to share my experiences that I've learned from observing nature and by communicating with some of the animals and the birds around me. So this time I'm taking you to a chat with the peacock. I've recently had a chat with a peacock and I'll just share the experience and how the communication went on, and after that what happened and what I've been observing with the peacock since the past few days. So talking about meeting the peacock, once I just picked up my camera and I was looking at photographs of a kite who is making a nest in one of the trees, which is there in another video. And I found this peacock who spread his wings and began to dance for a female. And meanwhile, another peacock came and he spread his wings and started dancing as well. And before you could say Jack Robinson, the other peacock put his tail down, the new one, the second one. He put his tail down and he came and he slashed the dancing peacock with his tail, who was very shocked, who was very surprised at what happened, and he put his tail down and began to run for his life. And after that he ran out of the space. Some dogs chased him, so he was petrified of that. And later on, after that day, the next day onwards, we heard this one peacock cawing right here behind me for 2-3 nights continuously, and even during the day. So my mom was wondering what is wrong with this peacock. Why is it going on and not letting people sleep? Because this is where our bedrooms are. And so I decided to ask the peacock what the matter was. And the peacock said, I am not able to find any mate. Nobody is ready to mate with me. And it was very sad. So my mom prayed for him that night. And the next morning he came in the evening and he told us that I have done one mating and I'm very happy. And so that was the story of the peacock. So why this mating was so special for him was because he told us that it was his first time, and we felt pretty bad for him for shouting at him for stopping. But my mom said, okay, if you want to caw, then please go ahead. But then my mom had some interesting questions about why was he sitting on the tree and cawing? I mean, which peahen would come up on a high tree? So the peacock said that, when we are sitting at such a height, we can't fly. So peahens see that we are so high and they get impressed with something like this. And that really struck us. And the peacock went on cawing and cawing. And finally, after he had mated once, he was very calm, very content. After that, he did not even squeak a little bit, whereas the other one kept on calling. So my mom used to ask him the count every day. So how many times have you mated, and how many times has the other one mated? Because the other one was an older, stronger male. So the peacock would tell. So finally, the final count was this baby peacock had mated thrice, and the older one had done it for 9 to 10 times. And so the interesting thing what happened with these communications was that once I had communicated with this peacock, he was very comfortable to let me photograph him at a very small distance. So once I was coming back, I was looking for some other bird. So I take peacocks for granted. There are so many peacocks here that I think that I'll photograph the peacock some other time. If there's some other bird, let me focus on that. But this peacock was so beautiful and it was telling me to photograph it. So I was taking photographs. The peacock was less than 3.5 feet away from me, and he was posing and he was giving me very beautiful shots, which I'm displaying here. And he was walking around very naturally. He was showing me his tail, and he was very natural around me. Of course, they don't let you touch because there is a little gap which should be there between the wild and the domesticated, we don't want to break those boundaries, but we definitely would like more harmony between them. So this peacock was very happily getting photographed, and the other day the peacock was sitting on another tree in my garden, so I would find a lot of peacock feathers which were lying around here and there. And so the peacock told me that now that the season is over, we are going to drop our wings, and we're going to grow new wings next year. So we're not going to use the same feathers, sorry, feathers not wings. We're going to drop our feathers, and we're going to be using new feathers which will develop next year to impress our females. But yeah, so first the peacock pulled out all the big feathers, and now all the small feathers are still there, they are coming off. And just yesterday I saw that this peacock was sitting outside my window here, and he was pulling at the feathers, and he was very busy with that for about an hour and a half or 2 hours, and he kept on pulling at his feathers, kept on tugging them out, and he's given us some beautiful gifts. So there are myths around why you should not have feathers, peacock feathers in your house. What happens if you keep peacock feathers in your house? The thing is that peacock feathers are used for a lot of malpractices. This is also something that the peacock told us himself, like, you know, black magic, tantric stuff, and they use peacock feathers, and they, while taking it out, they don't take it naturally, they harm the bird while they are taking it out. And so because they need it a lot more, so once you dust a person with peacock feathers a few times, the feathers disintegrate, so they need it very often, so they have to resort to these means. And so we asked the peacock, is it okay if we keep your feathers? And the peacock said, of course, it's fine, it's a gift from me to you. And I have never till this date found any peacock feathers last year. There have been peacocks in my house for the last 8 to 9 years. I've been seeing the population grow. After the season is over, I have never found feathers anywhere around. They always find different places to shed. This time they are shedding all over my garden, all over my backyard, and I think the peacock wants to give it to me, so he has. So these are some beautiful feathers that I found. These are full ones, like they're not disturbed even a little bit, you know, if you can see. They're beautiful, and the colors are so pretty, and every feather has its own quality. They all face in either one direction or the other. And the peacock is one of the most beautiful birds, the most colorful birds, especially this blue. So this feather I found yesterday after he finished his little small feather cutting session. These are really tiny. I think it goes a little beyond. My dog bit into this, so a little beyond this. And if you can see, these are the inside feathers. Just see, one side is long and the other side is so short and so colorful. It is so pretty. I mean, you would wonder about how beautifully God has made nature and put so much thought into details like this. This is a mid-length feather, right? Also small. This is an inner feather because one side is completely colorful. It's not just simply green like this. Just look at the beautiful shades of green in this. I will be showing in a photograph also. And yes, so I have gathered a lot of feathers this year. My friend Peacock has given them to me, and that way we communicate with a lot of animals. It may seem funny to say that, you know, we are communicating with animals. It's not a very logical thing to do, right? But animals talk, nature talks, and we'll also be covering in the videos how they talk, what they do, what they say, and how is it that they tell us. They are not like bow bow bow. That's not what they are doing. It's real legitimate communication. You can read up on animal communication. It's a true fact. So please go ahead, read, subscribe to this channel, and be interested. I'm going to show you about how we can get some knowledge of nature firsthand, because this is something that I've recently started, and I have started seeing a lot of changes in my surroundings, in me observing my surroundings, and things that were always there but I never really looked at them, and they're giving me a new meaning altogether. So stay tuned to this channel, and we'll talk again.